we've had a number of customers come through so far where we have nearly 800 seats over the course of almost just as many networks. It's a big marketing firm, and we've had them on board for the last 2 years, and we've been using them as we develop our management tools, and we're really excited to see this part of our business grow. Just to go through some of the features that we have, YSOS, again, the security is a big part of it, and that's the difference between backup and storage services. There have been lines blurred between the two, storage and backup, because storage in a layaway can be defined as a backup. Oh, it's located off-site. But from a development standpoint of security and access and how everything's arranged, the security is what separates the two. Backup is about writing many times and not viewing very many times. Maybe you're trying to limit your access. Backup is about having a place where you can recover data, but where other people can't really get to it unless they're authorized to. Storage is more for productivity, so it's kind of in line with our new Collaborate product, which competes in the market with Box.net and SugarSync and those types of services, which are really geared towards allowing many people to have access to these files and to change these files and create new versions of them. And so backup, the combination of the two gives you a nice data suite. So we have SOS Online Backup, very secure, and a true backup program. And then you have SOS Collaborate, which is a tool for productivity. And the use is going to be different too. Backup, you're backing up archived information that maybe is static but needs to be recoverable, whereas Collaborate gives you a way to only deal with really the active data. There's no reason to have static data in a collaborative tool. We also don't limit our customers by very much. So we have one account. It's based on the total size of the account, and you can put in as many machines as you like. Now, when you're pricing out a managed backup solution, of course, the number of machines is directly related to the number of hours that you're going to be spending either remotely supporting or supporting on-site. So a lot of managed service providers have formulas that are based on number of users, number of machines, number of servers, and the types of server. So you want to make sure that you're quoting correctly on a regular basis to take advantage or to assume the amount of work that you'll be doing. So Unlimited Computers is nice because, again, it lets you do test recoveries much more simply. It also gives the flexibility to the user to be able to back up data no matter where they are creating or changing or using information. As long as they can install the software, they can back it up. The unlimited version history is a big part of the service. The accounting firms and law firms love that. A lot of their security measures are based on time for, or data retention, rather. So our system never purges data. So we will back up a file. Let's say we're backing up a PST file, someone's Outlook email. We back up a PST file on day one, and it's 1 gig, and then we have the schedule set up to back up, let's say 4 times a day, because it runs very quickly, especially for users. So it's running 4 times a day, and then at the end of the year, it's grown to 2 gigs in size, and we have 1,400 versions of this file between 1 and 2 gigs. You will still have access to all of those versions as long as you have a 2 gig account with SOS. So it's based on the largest version of that file. So as long as the file name doesn't change and the location stays the same, then it just goes into a version history. So it's very powerful that you can actually recover all the way back to 2009 as long as you've been running the service. So it's really quite powerful. And then the combination of having that unlimited versioning plus the speed of the backup means that you can really protect yourself against one of the most common types of data loss, which is user error. So at a user level, you can't prevent that type of error. Like with hardware failure, you can get good monitoring services in place. You can have good tech refresh plans, which can pretty much eliminate hardware failure as an issue. But with user error, you simply have to put yourself in a position to best cover that. So that's a really nice advantage that our service has because of the combination of the versioning, which is unlimited and for free, and the speed of the backup. Because if you have the speed but don't have the versioning, you still aren't that protected because then you're limiting how far you can go back. A good question about this. Does bandwidth throttle while the network is running, or just the computer, or is it just based on the computer's network connection? That's a great question. Speed is actually one of the biggest advantages our service offers over the rest of the market. Most services will cap all accounts at a transfer rate of, we've seen 300, 500, and 700 kilobits per second max out. Some services don't throttle you down until you've used X amount per day. And our service, we really don't throttle. You know, if you have an 80 meg pipe, you should be transferring at about 60 to 75% of that, because we're transferring over SSL. So you're only going to get about 70% of your total available bandwidth. But there is no auto throttle that we have on our service, which is why we price the way we do. We price per gig with the assumption that this is a full bore service, rather than pricing based on a lot of assumptions and then trying to enforce those assumptions as those things change, as far as estimates of total usage by the average user, which has changed dramatically. A lot of consumer services have changed, which means they've stopped their unlimited plans, or they've increased the cost of some of their plans, because 5 years ago the average consumer only used 10 to 15 gigs of data. Well, today you can buy a 14 megapixel camera for $100. The average consumer has somewhere between 30 and 40 gigs now. So it completely changed the model, and that's why we've stayed healthy and always maintained that our model was better because it took into account changes in usage. Follow up on that. So let's say we have 10 users on site and they're going to kill the WAN link, or they leave some bandwidth available. Well, I mean, it's only when you're running backups, you're using upload speed. Most businesses aren't using upload too much, but yeah, I mean, it's what your business has available. So the initial backup is going to be one that you would plan out. So if you come on Tuesdays, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific, we have a tech and admin training where we go through best practices for initial backups and level 1 tech support training, and those would definitely be good to go to. And when you get to sign in, talk to your partner specialist after this and see if you can get on those trainings. Sometimes they'll let you on before you sign up, but these are trainings that we make available to our partners. But yeah, the initial backup, again, it's going to use as much bandwidth as you have available. So the initial backup, you'd want to plan with that in mind. So, but there's still local process involved with the encryption and compression. So it's having machines run at the same time partly matters, partly doesn't, because the way the system works is it does local processing and then transfers, local process and transfers. So it's not as if you hit run backup and then your upload speed just vanishes. All right, I'm going to move into the partnership model. We talked about it a little bit before, but again, it's a rebranded wholesale model. So you as a potential partner would make a commitment to SOS for how much backup you're going to provide, and it's a year-long commitment. The branding process is pretty painless for you. We just require that you send us a logo, send us a website that you want us to reference, and we're going to make it look consistent with your business or whatever you want us to make it look like. There was a question earlier about how billing is handled, and if we're handling the billing, or if we provide a way for our partners to bill. So standard partnership model is the partner handles all the billing. So whatever system that you're using, you would continue to do that, and you would perform all the requests for create account, upgrade account, or cancel an account. We do have a complementary product called the Web Integration Package. The Web Integration Package came from what is more common, which is to offer a billing API. So billing API are APIs that tie into our system that you can hire a developer for, or you can do yourself if you are a developer. So you can tie account creation and these types of moves to billing. So customer comes in, they put it in their credit card, they select a plan, they hit submit, and then you get paid. So the APIs we were finding, it was the partners who were taking this project on were spending 2 to 3 months and between $6,000 and $15,000 on development. So we productized the whole idea, and we've actually built a really nice system. We call it the Web Integration Package, and the Web Integration Package is a fully functioning website with a fully functional CMS, a content management system where you can add pages, change buttons, change links. There's a file management system in there. Depending on the level of the package you get into, there's a mailer built in. There's a support ticketing system, and it's a really nice product that we've put together that complements very well with partners who come into our system. Right now, we have about probably 30 to 40% of our partners who come on board usually go with one of the 4 flavors of the Web Integration Package, and your partner specialist can help you go through that. Again, why partner with SOS? High margins. We boast when we really